Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we are standing here with the Honda FL5 Civic Type R. This is the fastest Honda production car ever sold in the United States. Today we're going to go over some of the specs, the facts, and the history of what this car is and what makes it so special. So right now, we're going to go through some of the specs of the FL5 Type R. This car makes 315 horsepower, sold right from the factory in the US, and will make 330 on 93 octane. The car also is sold in Japan, making 330 right from factory. This car makes 310 foot-pounds of torque, weighing in at about 3,188 pounds, giving this car a 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. So the sticker price on a brand new Type R is about $42,000 and going as high as $10,000 to $20,000 over sticker price. This car does come in 5 different colors. This one is championship white, and hopefully we get the Phoenix yellow, just like we did with the FK8. The Honda Civic FL5 shares the same drivetrain as the FK8 Type R. This car has the same 2.0 liter inline-4 turbo with the same LSD differential and 6-speed manual transmission. This car only came with the option of a 6-speed manual. But to add, the FL5 has a little bit of an upgrade. We get 25 foot-pounds more of torque and 10 more horsepower. Some of that in being with this new air intake inlet pipe. They gave it a little bit more of a straighter exhaust, and they redesigned the turbo, changing up the number of fins inside of it, allowing for earlier spooling and giving it a higher end torque. And that is all in help of making this car the world's fastest front-wheel drive production car in terms of top speed. This car also set the world's fastest front-wheel drive production car lap time on the Nürburgring, which is just super cool. So another cool upgrade they did on this car is they changed the shifter linkage to help with some previous grinding noises when shifting in the FK8. This car does have a lighter flywheel than before and better rev matching. This car is a little bit more stiffer, using some better anti-roll bars in the front of the car. It has more bracing in the rear subframe and just an all-around better rev matching system to help with the car when downshifting into corners, making it a little bit more stable. So now we're going to lower down the hood for you guys and show you some really cool things about this car. So we are at our first location, and we are right here with one of the main lighthouses. We're at Fort Williams, and just figured this would be a cool spot to film the car at. So I wanted to show you guys that. So one thing I can for sure say is this car is a lot easier to get in and out of than the FK8. It's like I said, it's a lot more comfort based, so your daily activities are a little bit more accessible. I wanted to share with you guys some of the aggressive features on the FL5 Type R. So one of my favorite things right off the bat is the FL5 is way wider than a factory Civic. Right here, the factory Civic would have came straight down after the headlight, and right here you can see the bulge out. I mean, it looks so good. You even get these little vents back here that are a little more functional for aerodynamics, and our friend even put this little screen in back here just to help prevent rock chips for any of you other guys out there who want to take up that same idea. We do get side skirts on the car, which are really cool, and everything is functional, which is like my favorite part of this car. All of the vents, besides these back here, don't have much of a purpose, but there's no fake carbon fiber on this. And like I said, all of these vents are functional. I mean, even here on a base model Civic, you would have your fog lights, and right here they allowed ventilation to come through. You get a bigger grille down here, just really showing off that intercooler, allowing as much cold air to hit it as possible. I mean, this bumper is so much more aggressive. I'm a big fan. You have the aluminum vented hood, which is a really nice touch on this car. And right back here, Honda ended up going with a 19-inch instead of a 20-inch wheel this time around. And these are actually the widest wheels to ever come on a front-wheel drive car. They are 265s. They're Michelin Pilot Sport S's. And you can only get these wheels in black right now with black lug nuts instead of chrome like before. You do have a full set of Brembo brakes, which is super cool. They are 2-piece rotors. So that is all really cool to see on the Type R. So the only thing the FL5 shares with that base model Civic are these front doors and the roof. Every single part has been changed. As to the FK8, when it was wide-bodied, they used like these fender flare type things. They were a two-piece. This is all now just a one-piece wider fender. You can even see, like, you can't use this back door on a regular Civic because it bulges out for this wider effect right back here on the car. And that wide body is amazing. I do gotta say, the wing has grown on me. At first, I wasn't a massive fan, and I know this is a little bit more controversial, but I really like it. Honestly, the more you look at the car, I feel like the car really needs this wing. This is what makes it look so sporty. Another cool thing to know, too, is there's a factory option for a carbon fiber wing right from Honda. The Honda does still carry over its red badging. That's what stands for the Type R. Only Type Rs have red badging, as far as I'm aware. And down here, you get this much more wider, aggressive rear bumper with the 3-tip exit exhaust pipe, with the fatter one being in the center as opposed to it being two big ones and a smaller one in the middle. This exhaust allows it to open up a little bit for when you get on the throttle. And of course, you can't forget about this new cool diffuser that they added. This car does have all of its Type R badging, and I think it's just worth walking around. It's a lot more smoother, obviously. I mean, I really do feel as though this car is a little bit more comfort-based, but you really feel the power of it being a Type R. All right, guys, and lastly, we're gonna walk through the interior of this car. So, the Type R has some pretty cool features. So, we just walked over to it, and right off the back, automatic unlocking when you walk up to the car. That's a pretty modern car feature, but really cool to see on your race car. To lock the car, you just press that button, and to unlock it, it unlocks all 4 doors from the passenger side. Right here, unfortunately, I don't know if I have any clips, but we have some ambient lighting all throughout the doors, which is a very, very nice touch. We're going to jump right in, though. This car has a lot of red. It's very sporty, and I really like that. We have these Alcantara racing seats. These are the newer version for the Type R, and I am a fan. They are a lot more comfortable. They're really similar to the FK8s, but they're a little less stiff, I feel. I do love that it says Type R engraved up in here on the headrest. You do have the factory option for a harness, so that is super cool to see. And again, we have that minimalistic dash, and right here we have the aluminum shift knob. This car has a very clean throw. It feels so good to put in and out of gear. You have a self-charging port down there, so you can drop your phone on there and just let it charge. And man, we're gonna jump in this car in a few minutes, take a ride, and show you guys some of the features as far as the gauges and the 9-inch touchscreen dash right there. And I love that, the honeycomb grille down the side. This car is super cool. It's still featuring red seatbelts. And you may be wondering, the red carpet? I love it. I think that really gives this car a crazy sporty look. We haven't had a red carpet since the Honda Civic EK9. This is also real soft. This is real aluminum. Right over here, this is where you select your different drive modes with the button of R mode right here this time, instead of it being a dial to get to R mode as before. And man, I just love this. It's so clean. Here's just a little look back here. I do like this a lot with the cup holders in the middle seat. So this car is a 4-seater because of that. And it does say Type R right back there. Just to remind you, you are in a Type R. And lastly, I do like the look of the carbon fiber, but I don't like fake carbon fiber. So I am a fan of the back of these seats a little bit more because they're not trying to be something they're not. Like I said, really, really comfort-based car. Good car to get in and go drive and just go across the country in 100%. Another cool little feature about the US spec Type R is in Europe, the Euro spec Type R gets front and rear parking sensors and folding mirrors, as to the US specs gets ambient lighting and a Bose sound system. All right, guys, I've been having a lot of fun reviewing this car so far. So far, we've walked through the exterior, the engine specs, and some of the interior. But now, we're going to go see how this car really drives. See how this thing really handles. Dude, first impressions already is like it's so comfy. And joining us today is Alberto and his FK8 Civic Type R. So right here, we're going to talk a little bit about individual mode. So individual mode allows you to create a driving experience that you're comfortable with. Just something, you know, if you don't like the stiffness of your car in R mode and you want it to be a little bit more comfort-based, or even just for daily driving, if you want the R mode performance for your engine, I had to show you guys a cool Dodge truck. But if you wanted the R mode for your engine performance and individual mode, you can select that. Right here you can see he has, our friend has steering at comfort, suspension at comfort, engine sound at plus R, good choice. Rev match at sport, and gauges for R mode. So that is pretty sick to see.
Yeah, if I just change it to, let's say, comfort.
Just changing them to comfort. Yeah, it's a lot more daily driver based, but
yeah.
I do.
Sport is just slightly red.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Yep, you got a little bit of red behind the gauge.
But
And then R mode, that is way sicker. You get to see all of your gauges right there. Your coolant temp, your oil pressure. I mean, just everything is right there.
And the rev counter is actually a homage to the S2000's rev counter.
Really, so your tachometer is just like how the S2000s.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick, actually. So for rev match, you only get two options. You only get comfort or sport. So in R mode, I'm assuming rev match goes to whatever sport would be.
Yeah.
That is pretty sick.
Yeah.
This is the 9-inch touchscreen you get with all your different modes, making the car a little more customizable. And in individual too, this is a mode that you don't need the app for. It comes built into the FL5 as it didn't in the FK8. Right down here, you have your 3 different driving modes. So you have comfort, you have sport, and then you have R mode, which is where the car really, really comes to life. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So now we're going to talk a little bit about R mode really quick too, and what that does. So like I said, with your 3 driving modes, you have comfort, sport, R mode, and individual. And the cool thing about R mode is once your car's in R mode, your dampeners become way more stiffer. The EPS becomes firmer, giving you a much more road feel through your steering wheel. Everything just becomes a lot more manual. Your throttle response becomes immediate. Your rev matches become more precise. I mean, it really is what brings this car to life. Your exhaust notes get louder. I mean, that is where this car becomes an absolute track beast. So sick to cruise around and see the FK8 in the rear view. But man, this is sick. This is quite the experience. Like legit, I am loving how this feels. And we have the full red carpet. And I love how minimalistic and simple and clean this new dash is. This car, I would say, is a lot more comfort-based, you know, for your daily driving, as to, I feel like the FK8 is a little bit more aggressive and track-based, but they share relatively a lot of the same things as power plants and stuff with this car with a lot of different upgrades. But I like the little honeycomb venting down here. You see some of that in the tack over there. And crazy enough, this car has shift lights from the factory, which is just sick. You have your... Oh, that's cool. It's funny, actually. You can hear some artificial noise in the cabin when you rev it. That's an interesting feature actually on this. All right, guys. So we are in the Type R now. We are just cruising around. Lex is back there, and I'm loving this. The red lettering on the seat and it's a red seat too. Super cool. So what's nice about this, like I said, you can't see that wing in the mirror. It's a lot more functional. And I mean, it really just is a better look. Although I personally myself like the look of the aggressiveness of the FK8's wing. This is a lot more practical for sure. So we're cruising around now, hitting different locations. We're like I said, we got Alberto cruising in front of us now. Pretty good look. Get a little Something else I have to show too is depending on what gear you're in right here, it displays it on the dash, and I'm used to a lot of older cars, so it's actually really cool to see something more modern like that. That is a really cool feature in my opinion. So one cool thing this car also has is something called data logging, so you can just kind of log the progress of your car, and it'll actually give you feedback on how well you drove the car. It'll give you a percentage, I'm pretty sure, correct? So that is a pretty cool feature in this car. So far we've been driving around. It's almost been about a half hour now, and I am in love. Like, I am so comfortable, like I said. And just another cool thing I wanted to show you guys about the Type R. A lot of the newer ones, I'm not too sure about the older ones as well, have these little number plates, and it shows you which car out of production this is. So far this is number 2,746 of all the FL5 Type R's made, which is, I would say, a relatively low number. There's not a lot of these out yet, but in the coming years, this will be a lower number plate in my eyes, which is pretty sick to see. I mean, they produce about 400 per month in Japan and then disperse those throughout the world. So not a lot of these on the road just yet, being this car is so new. So currently, there's only about or less than 2,000 of these on U.S. soil. And as for like the GR Corolla hatch that they produced, they increased production numbers, so we're assuming they'll probably end up doing the same with these. But I mean, this is just such a cool car to go cruise around in. Another cool little thing too is like just these vents, man. real simple, real minimal. They look good. Like, this is such a good style for this car. Kind of crazy to think that this will be the last pure internal combustion engine that we get as a Type R. The next one will definitely be some sort of crossover of a hybrid or just, you know, a lot of electric assistance. So something kind of crazy to think of, but I don't know. For sure, like, through my time of sitting in this car, being able to talk about it, review it, it was just such a super fun car to ride around in, and it's just like, would be so fun to bring to a track day and just really feel what this car can do. All right, everybody, we just pulled up to the gas station now. I think I'm going to end the video off here. This was a super fun just ride along and a good review on the FL5 Civic Type R. I had so much fun being able to have the chance to ride along in this. Massive shout out to our friend Vivek for taking us out in this and offering us to ride in it. It was such a blast. If you want to see some more car content in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.